Speak Easy Studios. Speak and be heard.
What effect does stress have on your life? How does it affect your relationships? What about your business? My name is Lynn of It's Why, and my clients call me the identity coach because they discover how to take back control of who they want to be and how they react to stress. This message needed to get out to a larger group of people, so I created a group that helps people identify and manage the stress they never realized they had. We're going to explore questions that challenge you to find your inner power that got buried so deep within because of that stress, and take back control of the situations that cause that stress in your daily life. A small change can make the biggest difference. You make the difference. Welcome back to this week's episode of MeMonday. If you're coming back to listen to another episode, I'm so glad you're here. And if you're new to considering a me time routine, I'm excited for you. So let's talk today about choosing change. Okay, don't turn this off now. Let me at least ask you a question first. Have you ever felt like you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole because fear takes over when you need to make a change? Yeah, nobody likes change. Change feels uncomfortable. It's always hard. And some of us will actually get anxiety or some fear over that. So it can feel sometimes when this occurs like you're trapped in quicksand and there's no possibilities of getting out. You're just going to sink. It really feels kind of sucky, doesn't it? I know I felt that way at times and didn't feel very hopeful. But things always got better. So let's talk about this from a different perspective. Kids seem to think of infinite ways to be creative about doing things when they're little. They can take a corrugated box and turn it into something magical. I know I always did. If we didn't get a delivery with a huge box, we loved it when people put those big boxes out by the street because we would create something crazy out of those boxes. And it was a lot of fun, whether it was a hideout or maybe a magical plane, or it didn't make a difference. We'd be creative, right? Something that kids seem to be able to do without hesitation. But as adults, somehow it feels complex to generate new ideas. Like the box is just a box. Why is that? Sometimes we may end up just making simple things more complex than they need to be. So if it feels like your fears and anticipations of what might be are keeping you immobile, how might it feel to ask yourself in that moment, what might you want instead? I'm curious, have you ever done that? And if you have, how might that have made a difference? How might it feel to ask yourself what you don't want? Sometimes that helps you lead you down the path to what you do want. When you consider what you do and don't want, you might see an alternative perspective of a situation that you may not have recognized before. Might not feel so scary when that happens. Let's consider this. When an emergency happens, most people instinctively react and handle the situation. Fear doesn't really kick in because you know you're in an urgent circumstance that needs immediate attention. There's no time to think. There's no time to hesitate. You've just got to do what you've got to do, and you do it. And then afterwards, we may crash with those emotions of recognition of what we just had to deal with. But we did it. Why might it feel easier to do this in these crucial circumstances when there's no time to think and it's more difficult for daily occurrences, like starting a new exercise plan, clearing some clutter, or prioritizing the me time that you've always wanted to have and never got to. And I've spoken to many people who have said that trying to schedule that me time feels scarier than most other things. Why are we afraid to choose ourselves and put ourselves first? It's not selfish. How might it feel if the quality of everyday living included time for these things? The exercise plan you never got to. Cleaning up a closet that you might be afraid to open the door because there's just too many things in it. Or scheduling that little bit of me time for yourself. Carl Rogers once said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." Such an interesting statement. I'm going to repeat that. The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. Something to think about. So maybe it's time to get curious about what to change. Change doesn't have to be bad. It could be really, really good. So how can it be good? What's one small thing you might want to do for yourself that could free you from feeling like you're stuck in quicksand? By allowing yourself to try something new, something small, something creative like when you were a kid, your daily experiences can now be the ones you choose at work and at home. You know, Albert Einstein said, "The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking." So if you believe you don't have time to do one thing for yourself, then it might be time to imagine something magical to experience on MeMonday in a new, unique way. Today is MeMonday. It's the day each week that you get to be inspired and contemplate some new me time so that you feel ready to find solutions to whatever comes your way. You can dig deep into that kid in you every single day. I know I do. And I always will. Because that's the adventurous part of me that accepts me as I am, and that's what makes everything better. So thank you so much for coming to listen to MeMonday today. Thank you for those of you who are returning, and I hope those of you who are here for the first time will return next week for another episode of MeMonday. Have a powerful week.